Thanks for the opportunity to talk with you about trusted IoT services. IoT and security is a strong combination, so it is needed. I'm from Swissbit. We do have a booth over there. And if in case you don't know Swissbit yet, you can walk over after the presentation or stay here after the presentation to get familiar with Swissbit. We're producing, like Micron, flash memory devices, and we're based in Switzerland and have a production in Germany. I'm Hubertus Grobbel. I'm the VP Security Solutions, responsible for development of embedded IoT solutions at Swissbit. What is it about IoT and security? IoT will create a huge economic boom because of simplification of processes. We will have much more comfort, and we will see a lot of efficiency increase. We all know this from the Alexa world, like it or not, but this is a pretty good example of how things will work. But industry is having different demands compared to consumers. And we're more in the industrial space, definitely. And the security part of it and the IoT innovation will create a lot of new business opportunities and create a lot of new business models that will trigger investments and will make a boom happen. And once the first player is entering the market with a new business model, then the boom happens because the competitors will follow. And the security part of it will enable the business model. So it's like looking at smart meters. Energy is turned into money, and money turned into energy. Without a secure element to check and to verify what is really happening inside the smart meter, it's useless. It can be spoofed. Or software licensing. So if you have an extremely expensive software that someone has invested into, you're obliged to pay something. So the investment into the software and into the know-how will convert into a software licensing. Or you go for a SIM card. What you find on your bill is bound to a SIM card or an eSIM, and without that, you could not trust your bill. And if you go shopping, you do it with a secure bank connection, like with a Visa card and so on. All these things have one thing in common. They are based on hardware. And they are based on hardware because hardware provides the biggest level or the highest level of security. And that's in the industrial domain, where we come from or where we are strong in. This is where the devices are, like autonomous driving, for example, or e-charging, e-health, POS systems, surveillance, and so on. All these devices need security and will go into the IoT. All these devices are connected, and that will provide a huge attack surface. They are always on, and they can be reached every time. For example, with a search engine like Shodan, you can look for specific devices and get a list of the IP addresses where these devices are addressable. And that simplifies attacks if you have a generic security problem. And so the devices are vulnerable. And to make these devices secure, we help with our technology to turn them into secure IoT devices and protect the data that is stored on them, because this is like personal data. And the communication that is happening between the devices needs to be secured also. Why is this the case? So if you're relying on information for your business model or for your business operation, and the information gets interrupted, you will get no insight into your critical operations. So you're disconnected. That's a bad thing. You lose control in the end. Or data gets manipulated, so your data bases on wrong decisions and leads to your decisions based on wrong information, so your decision is wrong. And the data that are exchanged could be snooped and intercepted, and your business secrets or your confidentiality can be breached. In the end, talking about IoT devices that we know, it's about remote control also, like remote actors and sensors. The sensor part is the information part, and the actor part is like the remote control part. If that gets interrupted, you're losing control. So you can no longer control your power plant, for example. Or the data gets manipulated, you will see a damage or a loss of your production even, like it has been the case with Stuxnet. So the Stuxnet virus manipulated the equipment of Iran, and so in the end, it's not only a loss of production, but also damage was done there. So these are the security risks in IoT systems from top-level point of view. Looking at what the industry says, so German Bitkom has done a survey, and the company said that the damage from cyber attacks increased to 223 billion, with an increase from 358% compared to 2019. So it's a dramatic increase. And so the enterprises and the industry is alerted and wants to invest into security. Looking at what an data device or an IoT system really forms. I give you a business card, you can walk over to a different booth and pretend you're me, okay? So this is a kind of identity, but it may lead to an information exchange. You pretend you are Hubertus, and you get information because someone believes you. So this is about the identity. In the IoT device, it's device identity, and the authentication. Is this really Hubertus, or is it the device of me? You don't know, so you need to have an attestation. How do you do this? And the hardware-based identity needs to be unique and unclonable. This is very simple for silicon vendors or producers like Swissbit does, because we can go into the hardware and make this really unclonable. And the device integrity in the end, so if the device boots up, you find a root of trust in the device as well. And these devices will be secured, so no one is able to manipulate them. And the secure elements and the secure firmware go hand in hand and protect the device integrity. Looking at the data, it's pretty much the same. So you need to protect your data. So who is able to read it? So with our devices, like Swissbit storage devices with security functions and like the Authenta devices, it's easy to implement because the hardware encryption and the role-based access control makes it easy to distinguish that someone is an authorized user or non-authorized users. Only authorized users will get access and see the data in clear. Attackers will see encrypted data or will see nothing. Because of the combination of security and storage, this is a very good solution. And the data integrity, we can also store inside audit trails, make something untamperable with digital signatures, or the security controller itself provides a secure boot methods. This is part of the solution domain that we see. But there's even more. What is the current status of the technology? Looking at the security perimeter here, we have a SOC, like a system on a chip. By the way, the Apple M1 chip got recently hacked, and this cannot be patched. Other ARM SOCs are also affected, which is a real severe thing. So industry needs to think about new technologies and have some security in spare. However, how is this done? So typically you have a TPM that needs to be soldered on the device, and you have flash memory on the PCB. And this is your security perimeter. You need to do all this, and then you have a secure device. And that's one solution. Another solution is you have a system on a chip with an integrated secure element, And that secure element is inside the device. One could say this is like a trust zone, for example, like it's in the ARM chips. It's not really a trust zone, so it needs to do more because the trust zone is a secure execution environment and not a root of trust in that sense. However, you still need the flash memory, and here the assets are and are decrypted and encrypted using the SoC. That's another state-of-the-art technology. What we provide is, you do have a standard SoC, and CPU, and you, for example, add a micro SD card, and that has the secure element inside, or the security function inside, and stores the assets, and only if the SoC is able to authenticate with the flash memory, only then the data can be read and processed. If you separate that, data are secure. And regarding the micro SD card, just add the micro SD card, you're done. It's comparable like with an IoT SIM card or a SIM card for IoT devices with a storage device that comes as a SIM card in the end. So, how does it work? It needs to be simple, secure, and scalable. I come back to this. So we do have a trust authority platform and a customer data center. When the customer is buying the storage products from Swissbit with the Authenta security inside, the keys, the management keys are loaded to the Trust Authority platform. And these comes as a standard flash memory package. You see, it's kind of simple and easy to integrate. And because it's simple and easy to integrate, you can follow your standard manufacturing workflow. In the end, for example, this is ending up in a drone. You can ship it, and there's no risk when you ship the device. Device gets into operation, contacts the customer data center, so there's a solution provider for this drone, and the customer data center then contacts in the back end the Trust Authority platform and gets the ownership of the security keys, and then a secure channel could immediately be established from the customer data center to the device. They never met before, but because of this preparing in the production, this is very simple for the user to achieve. It's simple. This flow is like very simple. Okay, it's secure because it's a root of trust in the silicon, and it's scalable because you can onboard millions of devices. And you need storage anyhow, so why not take an Authenta storage product and make it ready for future business? So we think it's time for another or an additional layer of security by adding hardware security in the IoT with storage products. So we offer security solutions for IoT devices, adding hardware security to the IoT devices as a root of trust. And it's simple because it's provisioned and the secure element resides, or the security function resides in the flash memory, and no additional chip is required. So you won't have to change your PCB. And it's a standard memory interface, which is important for a broad acceptance. And it is secure because it enables security hardening using the security functions without burdening extra requirements on the PCB or on the platform. And it's a secure and trusted supply chain looking at Swissbit. So we are European, we are German, we are Swiss. So this is also a strong security factor with a trusted supply chain. And it's flexible because the security can be activated in the field. So you would not think about when buying a product, when creating a product, you can think about it. Once in the life cycle, you decide to activate a security, then we're there and you can do it. We call it also late binding. That's possible because the security is dormant and you decide for what you need the security for when you want to. Not when the device is born, but you have done everything right when you have designed it in. Talking about Swissbit, we're the trusted industry partner for over 20 years. We do have a production made in Berlin with a huge new fab, so that's really state of the art. It's pretty impressive, and we're a worldwide leader of industrial storage and security solutions. Since the security is under our brand for 10 years now, and the industrial storage technology is available for 20 years now. And we are a trusted supply chain. We do provide this, and especially by the recent acquisition of Hyperstone, we do enable root of trust in the silicon. So we can really go from the silicon to firmware, drivers, applications, software development kit, up to cloud services, which we all integrate here, coming from the silicon to the cloud service, what you have seen. And this is pretty unique positioning. And we do provide integrated and fully flexible security solutions with sales support worldwide.